and welcome back to Training on the Go. Now, today we're going to talk about bounce back loan and the next scheme, which is pay as you grow. Now, before I go into the pay as you grow, I need to explain a little bit about the bounce back loan. Now, the bounce back loan was a scheme that the government gave after the first lockdown in March 2020, and was mainly to support small businesses to access finance a bit more quickly during the coronavirus outbreak. Now, the small and medium-sized businesses could have borrowed between 2,000 and up to the 25% of their turnover. So the maximum loan available at that time was £50,000. So in order to have £50,000, you had to have a turnover of £200,000. So that was the 25% of your total turnover. Now, there were some conditions, of course. Some of these conditions were the applications were open until the 31st of March 2021. Now, of course, there were some eligibility criteria. These eligibility criteria were that your business had to be based in the UK. That was established before the 1st of March 2020. So before the first lockdown, which was on the 23rd of March 2020. And that your business is being generally impacted by the coronavirus. Now, if you had a business before, but you didn't have turnover yet, you could have forecasted your turnover for the current year. Now, the good news about this loan was that the government was guaranteed 100% of the loan, and there was no any fees or interest to be paid for the first 12 months. So that means you could have the loan, no payments for the first 12 months, and after 12 months, you could have started the repayment of the loan with an interest rate of 2.5% a year, which means that is really a cheap loan. The total amount of the loan was for 6 years. So the first year, you don't pay anything. And then from the second year, you start paying the loan up to year 6. Now is the time that the loan has to be repaid. So what you can do now, the government gave some extra support for the business and gave the availability to the businesses to apply for the pay as you grow scheme. Now, what is the pay as you grow scheme? Well, it's for anyone who is struggling or will struggle to meet the monthly repayment for the bounce back loan. Because of course, coronavirus is not finished in the first 2 months of the first lockdown. Nobody was expecting that was going on for so long. So businesses are still impacted by the lockdown, the first lockdown, second lockdown, third lockdown. And now is the time to pay back. And it's important that you can support your business while you're paying back as well the loan. So what you can do, you have this pay-as-you-grow scheme, and you have 3 options to meet your monthly repayments. You can use either one of these 3 options, or you can use a combination of the 3 options. That helps you, of course, to take some of the pressure off of your business. Now, the first option was to have a payment holidays, which means you can only pay interest for 6 months. You can choose when the 6 months are going to start. And that means that if you don't have the money, for example, for the bounce back loan straight away, you'll be able to just pay the interest for 6 months. You can do this up to 3 times while you have the loan. Okay, you can even do back-to-back 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. So in total, you have 18 months of no capital repayment, but only the interest repayment. Now, the second option was to, the second option within the payment holidays was to make no payments at all for 6 months. So basically, you are putting a pause button on your repayments and the interest as well. And then you can only use once this option during your bounce back loan repayments. So for example, if you don't want to pay anything for the first 6 months, the moment that you have to repay, that means you had 12 months to start with, plus 6 months or nothing to pay. So your first 18 months are basically an interest-free loan and with no repayments. Of course, the more you add these things, the more interest are going to accrue for your total loan. But we will see in a second the numbers, and we will see if it's actually a good option to use any of these 3 options or not. The number 3 option is to extend your loan to 10 years. So at the moment you have a loan for 6 years. So the first year is gone. Now you have 5 years left. Now, if you want, you could extend the loan term to 10 years. Now, that means that you're paying over a longer period of time, which means you can bring your repayments, your monthly repayments down, but you're going to pay a little bit more of interest. Now, first of all, how do you do this? How do you apply for the pay as you grow? Well, it's simple. Depends which bank you applied the bounce back loan for at the beginning. Then you can go on your app or your website of the bank that you're using, and it literally takes like 1 minute to sort it. There's a button, there's a clear instruction there where you can follow step by step to apply for whatever option you decide to go for. Now, on a normal circumstance, like where you're not taking any of these 3 options on board and you're going to start to repay your bounce back loan back, let's say, for example, you borrowed £50,000, which was the maximum you could have as a loan. The total amount repayable over the term, which was 72 months, so 6 years, it was £53,142.50. So that was with the 2.5% interest. That is the total, the maximum you're going to repay. So you take 50,000 and you're going to repay in total £53,142.50, which means you'll only pay a bit more than £3,000 in interest over 6 years, which is very good. Now, if, for example, you want to extend it to 10 years and take the 3 options, so pay only the interest 3 times, and then you also take no payment at all, payment holiday. So let's say, for example, you do this and you extend it to 10 years time. The total repayment for everything, okay, including the 3 payment holidays, the extra payment holiday where you're not paying anything at all, not even the interest, and you extend it for a further 4 years, the total amount of payment for the £50,000 loan would be 56,907.74, more or less, of course. So that means that you're paying over 10 years time an interest of £6,907. My opinion is the £6,907 pound interest on a loan of £50,000 over 10 years time, that is a no-brainer in my opinion. Of course, you have to take independent advice on this. You know, I'm not advising anything, but my suggestion for my business would be, if you are struggling, of course, to repay the monthly payments of the bounce back loan, would be to extend it to 10 years, take the 3 options, and then you're going to pay just shy of £7,000 of interest over the 10 years. Now, what can you do with £50,000? Now, it depends what kind of business you had. If, for example, your business was a property business, you could have, with £50,000, bought a property without the mortgage, so cash purchase. You could have refurbished the property and refinanced the property later on to recycle your cash. And you could have done 2 projects like this. So that means you have 2 properties of about £50,000 each. Okay, because you've done it twice in a year. That's totally possible. Now, the rent of this property, let's say your rent is, excluding all the expenses, you remain with a profit of £400 per month per property. That means you have now £800 per month for the 2 properties you've done. If you multiply this £800 per month times 12, okay, in a year, times 10 years, now your profit over this 10 years time of the loan will be £96,000. So if this loan is allowing you to get a profit over 10 years of £96,000 without considering the capital appreciation, that's an extra bonus. So if you're getting £96,000 over 10 years, would you worry of paying £6,900 of interest? Now, this is just a question for you to decide. I hope it's been useful. If you like this, subscribe and like it and share it with the others so other business can take advantage of this wonderful scheme, which is called Pay As You Grow.